One of the best ways to take care of our careers as content creators is to first take care of ourselves. To discuss how focusing on well-being can help boost your creativity, let's welcome Strategic Partnership Manager at Meta, Carly Lynn, and content creator of wellness and mental health advocate, Kelly Uchima, also known as Kelly U.
Hello, everyone. How are we doing? Woo! We are so excited to be here. Oh, gosh. Welcome, Kelly. We both flew in for this event, so very excited to be here in Dallas from New York and
LA. And my first time in Dallas, I've just been to South by Southwest. That's about it.
Yeah.
So, hello.
Any other out-of-towners here? Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, great. Oh, so we're all on this journey together. Well, very excited to be here, and I feel extremely grateful to be sitting across from Kelly. So to kick things off, we know that the focus of today is to support and inspire the creator community to fuel their passion for creativity. And no one is more knowledgeable about the topic of how to balance mental health and well-being than Kelly. So very excited to hear all about your creator journey, how you got to this point, and get into all of the nitty-gritty. So
Thank you, Carly.
for our audience members here and who are tuning in at home, I'd love if you could just take us back to the early days. What got you into this creator journey? What sparked your interest in creating content and meaningfully connecting with audiences? Take us back.
Well, I'm 30 right now, but when I was 19, Instagram was kind of just coming about, and I dug my hands into it, but only from I'd put the weird sepia filter on and then move on.
Love
But
sepia.
I was in college suffering with a really severe eating disorder, but I don't think I understood any of that at the time. There was no language, there were no resources that I could access at all. So I really just went on to Instagram and was like, I'm just gonna start to journal. I'm gonna say, hey, I'm going through this, I'm struggling with this. If anyone else can chime in and let me know. And I couldn't believe the beautiful outpour of people saying, same, me too. I couldn't really wrap my head around what I was going through, and I was pursuing therapy for the first time. So I started a YouTube channel and named my series My Recovery Diary, and I figured, okay, I'm going through all of this for the first time in my whole life. Maybe this could help just one other gal, one other person. And I think I used it as a way to stay accountable to my own healing and my own journey, because I was miserable. I was in college. I had 2 jobs. I had an internship. I was trying to pay off all my student debt. I was trying to get good grades in school. And I didn't have a good community of friends. I didn't tell my family what was going on. My parents, I love them so much. But back then, they really didn't want me to try going to therapy. They were afraid. There was no one on social media talking about this. So I felt really alone in my journey. And then over the last 10 years, I've still been doing this. I share a lot of lived experience through recovery, sobriety, therapy, and also just silly, fun life things. But that's really what started my journey. Is I wanted community. I needed to feel like I wasn't the only person, and I still keep doing that.
Yeah. And I think what is, among many of your superpowers is your vulnerability. There, I don't think is anything that's off limits when it comes to what you share with your community. Is that right?
No, especially the IBS stuff.
Yeah.
If anyone here struggles with IBS, that is me right now, having traveled for the last 5 days.
But you're creating a world that is a safe space for people to express all sides of them, whether it's relationship issues, mental health, tummy issues. You are that safe space, and I love so much about the ethos of your messaging and your brand is making people feel less alone in their journey.
Well, I appreciate that. I think it's just because so much of us in general as humans, we're just going through our own lives. We don't feel like our lives are that special. In fact, I know that with all my struggles, sure, maybe I'm on the stage right now and Carly's being so nice saying, how cool is it that you share all this stuff? But in my life, in my whole from childhood. Oh yeah, that's me over there.
Yeah, I love
I think that's when I was like 3, and in the middle, that's me actually at the height of my eating disorder. And I think I just chose these photos as like little points in my life where I didn't realize had such a big impact on who I would be. So when I was younger, I was a kiddo, pretty happy overall. My bracelet just fell off. I was pretty happy overall, but there was a lot of chaos in the home. So I think I really learned how to put all of my energy and shame into myself as well. I really kept everything to myself, and that turned into, when I was about 10 years old, finding a way to try to control all of these unhealthy emotions. And I developed all these really unhealthy coping mechanisms to try to deal with what was going on in the house. And in college, that photo right there is when I was really active on like Instagram and social media. And yes, I'm smiling, and I graduated, and I ended up working at the University of Illinois in academic research for 7 years. And I know a lot of us here are emerging creators or established creators, but all of us have had kind of a really basic standard life before. So I made under $40,000 a year just trekking along, working every single day and posting online organically.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking at this little picture of you, and I feel like everything you're doing now is, for her, like who you show up as in this world, creating this space and this opportunity for people to connect meaningfully is like all for little Kelly.
Thank you.
It's beautiful. So today, the focus of our conversation is about owning your time and managing well-being and mental health while sticking with the creative process. And you know better than anybody how much time and space is needed to really be creative. So I want to talk a bit about burnout on the creator journey. Can you talk about what your experience has been with feeling creatively burned out and how you've managed to give yourself a bit more breathing room to get back into the creative flow?
So when I moved to LA, this was only about 2.5 years ago. I moved from Central Illinois because I was still working at the University of Illinois, posting on social media. But I finally left my full-time job because as a creator, we all know there are opportunities to work with brands and make money, but that is a whole grind in itself. And you still have to be posting organic things and sharing your journey or whatever your own niche is. You got to do that and the brand deals and make sure you have enough content to really make sure that your audience is happy, to make sure that brands still see you as a valuable creator, putting out things in the world for people to enjoy, to experience, to live alongside of you. And when I first moved, I kind of expected LA to be the dream. And I loved the weather. However, I had two can you hear me? Okay, thank you. 2 months where I made $0. And I could not believe I just signed a new lease in LA. The rent is really expensive there compared to what I was paying. And I was like, what am I going to do? I just moved here. I thought this was going to be all so good. I'm going to all these events. I'm meeting all these cool people. But does it even matter? I had to really check in with myself and say, I have to grind so hard just to make sure I'm posting all this content to get brands to notice me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us know that that's kind of the struggle between how much energy do I have in me to just live, make sure my mental health's okay, make sure my body, my mind, my soul is all taken care of, and I'm going to film, I'm going to edit, I'm going to put text on the thing, I'm going to write a caption, I'm going to post stories, I'm going to post this video, I'm going to outline a new video for tomorrow. It's really, really hard. And so I'm glad we're talking a lot today about how my journey into finding sustainability and balance in this creator journey, it is still a journey, but I do have lots of tools and resources to offer you guys today.
Yeah, and I just wanted to poll the audience quickly. How many people here have experienced burnout before? Creative burnout. Yeah.
I can't imagine
everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you then proactively manage your well-being and maintain that sense of balance with this new life in LA? I know in the beginning it wasn't the roses that you signed up for, but so what do you do now? What are some of the ways that you kind of schedule your day to make sure that you're prioritizing what's important?
Okay, well, this is the easiest hack ever. My phone is always on Do Not Disturb. And my mom freaking hates it. Like, she calls me a lot. I'll get many texts from her. But that is the way that I save my sanity. That's not possible for everyone. But if there's an hour, a 10-minute period, 30-minute period where you're not needed for a call or a task, Do Not Disturb is amazing.
Yeah.
I will give credit a lot to my therapist I've started seeing 2.5 months ago. She taught me how to have a really consistent morning routine. She's a very action-based oriented therapist, and I hate meditating. Anytime anyone ever mentions it, I'm just so annoyed by it because I don't want to do that. I never lived my life present. Are you joking me? And so my solution to doing that every day is I go on Spotify, I'll type in 5-minute guided affirmations.
Nice.
That is the ultimate end game for me in my meditation. Someone is feeding me nice things about myself, and that is what I can handle.
How do you feel?
It's great because you're going to have all these positive thoughts and you have someone helping you do the work. And if you're like me and I get very anxious, very overly intimidated by the smallest little things, I love having someone in my ear to tell me, and then it helps me to start going to the next task would be a little gratitude journal, something I've also always rolled my eyes at. I still roll my eyes. I didn't do it this morning, okay, because I'm traveling. But overall, every day I say to myself, get some sun, get some movement, drink your water, take one moment to take 4 deep breaths, and every action you do today is leading you to a higher quality of life. Just that one sentence. And then this is something that really hit me when she said this. Trying is lying. You're either doing it or you're not.
Whoa.
Yeah, I hated it when she first told me, but it's great.
That feels like a little Post-it note mirror. Like a mirror sticky that we need to... Kelly also said something great behind the stage. It's not
ER. No, it's PR, not ER. And that's something we often say, like with my management and my team and with social media. You know, a lot of brands will be like, oh my God, you need to post this right now. And we're like, okay, relax.
It's
like,
PR, not ER. I feel like if there's one thing you take away, it's that. It's that, you know, we're not saving lives. The brands can sometimes make us feel that way.
Oh, yeah.
So a morning routine. Okay, so it sounds like prioritizing yourself first thing in the morning is the key to having the rest of the day sort of be what you want it to be. When it comes to the creative process, what are your favorite or most fulfilling parts of being a creator? And then on the opposite side, what are the parts of being a creator that are totally draining?
I'll go to the draining part first. All of us know we're all pretty smart. When we see a video, we kind of know what went into it. This person set up everything, they filmed it, then they went to their laptop or CapCut and started chopping it up, whatever. Then they decided to put captions and all of that. It is so tedious, time consuming. But I think the most tiring part about the process is how much of a weight it holds in our chest. I know that when I'm working on something, I feel like my whole body is very invested into it. And I think the emotional investment that we put into content creation is more than just the tasks, because we all are always thinking, how is this going to be received? Is this going to get a lot of likes? Is it going to get a lot of comments? I hope this gets a lot of shares. I hope that someone notices it. I hope it goes somewhere. And that's not how social media has always been. There hasn't been potential for a video, if you have 20,000 followers, to reach 20 million views. Oh. And that is a very addicting drive. And I know that I have to really center myself and ground myself to not always hope that that's the case. Yeah. So that is really hard. And the way I structure it, I'll get to the good parts. So that's the tough part. The good part is knowing that you have a voice. When I was growing up in my house, I was really, really squashed down. I was told that I was kind of annoying. I talk too much. I'm too energetic. I would literally bounce up and down for hours singing in a microphone. My dad called me and my sister the Rice Girls. It's a play on words for the Spice Girls, if you know who those are. And I love to sing and perform and do all these things. And my mom in Chinese, she would go, oh, you're being super annoying. And I think I turned a lot to social media to try to find myself. Yeah. And I think I did need someone else outside of my family to tell me, like, oh, you're seen, you're heard. But I didn't just do social media to get people to tell me that. I think my content now is to make sure that I can show you through you maybe relating to some kind of story of my sobriety or my recovery or how I've finally escaped really traumatic abusive relationships. A lot of these things and personal human experiences aren't cookie cutter or really basic. They're actually pretty deep. And so all I ever want is for you, if you're ever receiving my content, is to go, yeah, I can see myself. I can hear myself. I want to know my own story. And then you get to get offline and work through that and enjoy your life yourself.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing all of that. You mentioned something when you were talking about the draining parts that are, I hear this a lot. I work at Meta and I focus on working with all different types of creators on their creative journeys and feeling very tied to the algorithm and the performative nature of a post can be draining. It can be exhausting. I don't think there's a creator out there who hasn't been personally impacted by the algorithm. It's like the Mean Girls, the Regina George.
Yeah.
So anyways, when it comes to embracing your authenticity and staying very true to your voice, which is so core for all of the content, how do you stay true to that while your social media presence continues to grow? You're attracting the attention of brands who are in essence, sort of demanding that from you. How do you balance that?
There's the personal experience aspect, and then I'll talk about like the business aspect. And when I'm saying those things, your question really made me think about, all right, well, when I'm creating something, I think, let's just make sure this gets views. Okay, let's make sure that it connects with someone. And the thing about that, though, why do videos get views? Why do videos get shares? Why do videos get any attention? It's because there's some truth in there somehow, whether it's really, really funny, whether it's really, really emotionally impactful, whether it's very educational. And so when I make something, I try to, and not everything is purposeful, okay? Sometimes you just post stuff because you want to, and that is totally awesome. But overall, finding a way to make sure it answers some kind of question for someone and it has some specific point of view. I think that with social media, the hard part is that the things that attract the most attention is something very, very intense. And that is not really easy for a creator who's trying to find balance or sustainability in life. Everything has to be very, very extreme. But I think having the self-awareness to know that this is just the work and this is maybe what's going to work in the algorithm, that's okay. Sometimes you just do have to play the game, but stay aware and conscious that you are you, you're okay, you're grounded, you're safe, and this is my work, and I'm excited to find a way to make this go well. I'm excited about finding a good strategy. There's a really cool feeling in that win of I figured out the best sound, I figured the best hook, I figured out the best story, and I put my whole heart into this piece of content, and that feels so cool, even if it doesn't blow up. And then on the business side of it too, when you're creating, when I mean business is that as creators, we need to make money. And by trying to make sure that your content is appealing to other brands, that's exhausting as well. Because you want to be your most authentic self, you want to tell your story, but you also want to make sure your brand is safe. And that has a different definition to everyone, because there are different types of brands, different types of content that brands want to see. But that is something that's always on our minds as creators, is in the back of our head. Everything we put out, we're like, oh, will a brand want to work with me?
All right. Right. What do you do when you start to feel that creative block or creative burnout? How do you handle that? How do you shake things up?
I think the hard part about my content is that it is so based on my lived experiences. So there have been a few times in my life where I just want to quit. And luckily I haven't felt like that in 2 years. But as a creator, even if you have a niche that is totally outside of yourself, you are still putting so much of your own personality and your heart into it. Like if I was a gamer, which I'm not, you're still doing all of that. Your voice or your actions, there's so much of your energy that's put into it. And my content is all about talking about really deep things that aren't necessarily heavy, but they're so personal. My personal stories, my therapy, the lessons that I learn. And so it's really tough to know where to draw the line in certain parts. But I forgot the question.
Oh, I think you answered it. Didn't we feel like she answered it?
I have ADHD,
We're talking about
as I'm sure all of us in this room do. I'm really sorry.
We're talking about being creatively stuck. Which I think, I can't imagine there's a creator out there who hasn't felt stuck. You wake up one day and you're like...
Yeah, so the difficulty is that a lot of times you just have to stick to these content pillars. That's how I get by.
Yeah.
You kind of have to just step away from yourself and write it on a piece of paper and go, okay, these are my content pillars. Which one do I want to kind of make something off today? Sometimes it really just has to get that nitty gritty and basic.
Yeah. And knowing when it's okay to take a little step away, right? You could, I mean, I've seen creators schedule out their content for the month and then, you wake up one day and you're just not feeling it. So that's the day you go for a walk, you have your guided meditation, and maybe that's just not a creative day. Do you ever batch your content?
No.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. That is not inspirational at all. What
Well,
you
I don't
said,
know it, but that's-
creators
no,
are
but that's your
scheduling
truth.
their content a month out ahead. I said, wow, that would be so cool if I had that foresight.
Well, I mean, it is interesting. Yeah. But it's interesting to hear how each creator schedules their day differently, depending on what works.
Yeah.
And maybe this is a good segue. Obviously, we're all here today. We're celebrating the Samsung Galaxy Creator Collective. AI is the topic of a lot of conversations. And we were just chatting a bit about this backstage. But how are you thinking about AI right now? Are there any tools or features you wish you had that would make the creator journey a bit easier, or anything you're particularly excited about?
Well, I think when AI first came around, I'm not like the most tech savvy gal. I use Final Cut Pro and then that's about it. I was really excited and afraid. I think, though, as a creator, it is a solo job. And I do envy some creators that have full teams, an editor, a creative partner, a producer, a director, or all that, a writing partner. I don't have any of that. And I know that would help me. But I think that as a creator, it's such a personal experience that I don't think I've ever really wanted that. Even if I had the budget to do it, I've never even hired an assistant. And so many of my much more successful creator friends have hired assistants. And I'm still sitting here 10 years into the game being like, but I do have management. I do have a team, and they help me keep accountable. But when it comes to AI tools, I have many friends who will have an AI-powered assistant just to help with tasks.
Yeah.
Because as a creative, you're very focused in the editing process. For example, right, if you're doing one thing, that could take up 8 to 10 hours, and time blindness and task blindness is so prevalent in my everyday life that having reminders pop up, be like, hey, these are these 4 things you had to do also today, whether it be to submit something, to start something, to finish something, to respond to an email. I think that is really important for creators, just to feel like we have some other support system.
Right.
And most of us cannot afford to have that. And AI is going to probably provide a lot of that support.
Yeah, I know we were talking about how you like having your to-do list sent to you.
Yeah, I'm really lucky with my management. Well, you pay them 20% of everything, okay? They're not free. But we have an amazing talent coordinator. Her name is Savannah, and every day she'll send me a to-dos list. And I don't get it done all the time, but she'll send it like twice in the day.
But to your point, I mean, and I hear this a lot, the creator journey can be very isolating, very lonely. And with that comes complete accountability. It's really just you at the end of the day. Whether or not you get through your to-do list is really on you. So even feeling like you have an AI assistant who's kind of keeping you accountable is someone or something else that's checking in. If you could wave a magic wand and have an AI tool or feature to make some aspect of the creative journey a bit easier, is there one thing that we can sort of put into the ether here?
If an AI tool could comb through all of my video footage and find the best first 4 seconds that will really emotionally hook you in the beginning, that's what I wish. I think about that all the time.
Yeah. I
Like
think
it would have the emotional intelligence to know what would touch someone's chest.
Yeah. I think that's the direction things are going. Especially, I mean, with some of the editing tools and the capabilities where you can rely on AI to find, I don't know if it's the most exciting 4 seconds, but they find the most exciting part of the conversation. God knows how they do that. But it is interesting to see how AI will continue to help with captions or voice to text or translating and some of these other really unique features that take a lot of time to do manually.
I would not be able to survive without auto captions.
Yeah.
And you still have to go in and edit them.
Yeah. As far as any advice that you would give creators who are dealing with imposter syndrome or a sense of kind of, who am I to be putting this content out into the world, or working on developing that self-confidence? I feel like you have such a deeply embedded sense of self. What wisdom would you give people who are on their journey, but they just need a little boost of confidence?
I have imposter syndrome sitting here right now, guys. What am I doing here? Okay.
Being perfect.
Everyone backstage was like, "Thank you so much for having me." Seriously, I'm so grateful. But I believe that quality in all of us is a sense of groundedness. And I think sometimes we can so easily judge our imposter syndrome as, oh, well, then that means I think I suck. Oh, then that means I'm not enough. Sometimes it's okay to say, hey, I'm feeling like I'm a little too insecure to post today. I'm feeling like my story is boring. I feel like what I made, someone's already done that. But you have to force yourself to take yourself out of your life. Because if you think about it, when you're at a coffee shop and you walk up to someone and they start telling you about their day, you're like, oh, that's interesting, even though if it's the most boring story you've ever heard in your life, right? Maybe they bought new groceries. You're like, oh my God, what did you buy today at Trader Joe's? Because you didn't go with them. So you have to view yourself as a stranger, because if you spend all this time staring at your face, editing that stuff and redoing it, yes, you're going to be boring to yourself.
Yeah.
But you can't stop there. Just put it out, leave it there. Next thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that sounds great. And I know a lot of people probably strive for that and then get caught in the minutia of, well, how did it do? And
I do it.
Performance anxiety. How do you feel like, as you've now been creating content for how many years?
I think almost 13.
Wow.
Oh boy.
So how do you feel like you as a person, like your identity has changed in tandem with the type of content you're creating? Obviously, from getting going to now, it's like a lifetime in the creator cycle.
When I started, it was all very organic. I was just a normal gal in the cornfields of Illinois, working in research, struggling, and journaling online. And it has taken me quite a long time to feel worthy of even being a full-time creator. It's still pretty new. Like, I'm 30 years old and this is not what my future was supposed to be. I needed a good job with insurance to get married and have kids. I'm not in that place. Like, I'm very grateful where my life is now, but I'm adjusting. I'm always learning how to embrace how I deserve to be here. And I think when you're a creator, there's a level of self-consciousness that you hold at all times, because our whole job is dependent on how others view us. So taking the time to know that that is just a job and it is work, and sure, you love it and you have passion and you're excited for it, and so much of your identity is tied to it. We have to really cater to the other side, which is, who am I offline? What are my relationships like? Do I have good friends? Do I have people to talk to? Do I have places I like to go? Do I have activities or hobbies that I really want to do in my free time that don't depend on how people view me? It's really hard to turn your attention to that, because the machine that you feed rewards you with the likes, the comments, the numbers, and the dollars. However, you have to always think, how can I feel rich on the inside? And if you don't always want to move to that side, you got to have people in your life that force you to turn the other way at least once a day.
Yeah, that's such an important point. I mean, fostering the community, both digitally, but also IRL, having the relationships with family, friends, people that are maybe also creators and can understand what you're going through, and then also shut off with you so you can recharge to get back in there. I think that's so important.
And I'm saying that because I didn't have good friends. I didn't have good relationships with my family when I started social media. I feel like my only connections to the real world were through a digital world. Yeah. So I'm telling you from a lot of regretful times in my life where I would close my phone and have no one to look at. Nobody to call, and that was years of my life. And it's pretty embarrassing to say, and so I've had to force myself to wake up. Like, I wasn't living in the real world for a while, and it wasn't a bright place.
Yeah, it's so important to strike the balance, because each creator is effectively an entrepreneur, right? You're all running your own businesses, you have your own goals, your own KPIs, things that are important. So it's similar to, having any business, knowing when you can shut off and when to, power down so that you can come back stronger the next day. Being mindful of our time. I did want to point out that Kelly made a fabulous reel. If I can,
It's really just silly.
it's a very fabulous, silly reel.
Oh, not that one.
What?
It was the chemical peel one. I did a chemical peel recently.
So that is now a template that others can utilize to show how they disconnect to reconnect. I wanted to ask too, when you were putting this reel together, what was going through your head? I love the juxtaposition of the offline online. I don't know how to get it back up on here.
No, it's perfect. Oh yeah.
There we go.
Well, the behind the scenes is that I made this while I was visiting my boyfriend's mother. He's here right now, and we are in the hospital. We had to make an emergency trip a couple days ago to Florida to see her. She's doing a lot better, but we weren't sure how that was going to end up. And I had just finished a speaking engagement in Atlanta. So I'm working on this in the free second I had between that and all the work and more traveling coming here. And I just thought to myself, right now I'm living this.
Yeah.
I have a fully online life where I get to go to all these events and speak about my experiences. And then in real life, I can't wait to take my makeup off. I can't wait to have dinner. I can't wait to play with my boyfriend's mom's dogs and just be present. And so I wanted to just put whatever clips that were happening within that week together. And sometimes it can just be like that. A lot of times we spend so much time trying to make it perfect and beautiful and go viral. This didn't go viral, and that's okay because I like it.
Yeah.
I lived it.
And it's totally authentically you is it. I mean, I love seeing how you have the polished, sitting there on stage and then sitting in your bed eating takeout. I think
I am this person 0.0000001% of the
right.
time.
And it's so crucial for I think all of us to be reminded of that. And how can we stay in touch with you? What's the best way to connect?
Super easy. You can just look up Kelly and the letter U and you will find me.
Yes, and we also have a barcode very conveniently located right here. So if anyone feels compelled to follow this template, I loved...
it was fun to make. Online you and offline you, it really inspires other people to just be like, yeah, there's two different sides of us, but we know sitting here that they're really both two major players. One is not more prevalent than the other, and that is a scary thought. Yeah. Like creator in me is kind of sometimes takes over, but people can see both, and people love both of you.
Yeah. So true. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you.
So appreciate it. And thanks everyone for being an amazing audience. Okay. Enjoy the rest of the day, everyone.
Have fun.